Hi. Hello and welcome back to Geek Space. I'm Cade.
And I'm Brendan, and we're on different sides of the couch than normal.
For him, this is usually where I sit when Chad's here.
But when I'm here, I usually sit there.
Yeah.
I've never sat on this side of the couch before. It feels weird.
Okay, so we saw The Flash. Yeah. Honestly, I enjoyed it.
It's a fun watch.
It is. It's a DCEU movie.
Which should explain half of what we're going to say.
Yeah. We're not going to bash on it. I don't feel like we have a lot of bad things to say.
Yeah, I do. I do. No, I'm just kidding. Not a lot.
No. Just a few things here and there. Obviously...
You might have more gripes with it than I do.
I think so.
Yeah.
So, which is weird because I have a higher rating than you, I feel. So, okay, just to get into it. I rated it 3.5 out of 5.
I think I'm a little bit less. I'm going to go like 3.2. Go 3.2 because it's not a 60% movie.
Yeah.
A little bit higher than a 60% movie, but
yeah, like
that's about it.
I just feel like okay, so we've talked about it before where it's like this is pretty much the last DCEU movie.
Thank God.
Yeah. Blue Beetle, as said by James Gunn, is technically the last DCEU movie, but the first DCU character. Basically, that Blue Beetle will still be the same character, same actor portraying him.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, but the first DCU movie, so the new universe kicks off with Superman Legacy.
As it should.
Yeah.
I think a new DC has to start off with either a Batman or a Superman movie.
I completely agree, and thankfully it's starting out with those two. So, but no, yeah, so this is the last DCEU movie, and we both have kind of said, like, it's not going to be... We both thought it wasn't going to be terrible, but it wasn't going to be what the DCU films by James Gunn will be.
I said this a lot back when we did our Guardians of the Galaxy review. I think Guardians of the Galaxy, again, if you haven't seen that, very well done. If you haven't seen the movie, go watch it. Very well done. James Gunn wouldn't have left us with a bad project for Marvel. He wanted to give us a good project to get excited for DC. And I think hopefully he does take a little bit of comedy out. Because I think DC is a little bit more serious in terms of... Or should be, at least, in terms of their movies. So I think he'll take a little bit of comedic, just some humor out of it. But yeah, if the whole DCU kind of is in the direction of what Guardians of the Galaxy was, I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, oh yeah. I feel the same way. So, real quick, we'll do a quick spoiler-free review, and then we'll get into the actual, like, good stuff of the movie. So, spoiler-free review. Honestly, Ezra Miller... He made it up to me. Not the crimes. We're not going to get into that. Because,
not the criminal charges.
No, but definitely his portrayal of the Flash in this movie, in my opinion, changed. I honestly think he did a lot better than what we've seen him. Obviously, Grant Gustin is my Flash.
Who?
Grant Gustin.
No, I'm playing. Grant Gustin's my Flash.
That's my Flash. That is the bar for me. In this movie, maybe right here. For me.
Guy's always been a little generous. You know what I mean?
Not really. No.
I just... Look. First of all, it's hard for me to get off of the crime part of his real life. Crime part. It's like, again, I'm going to relate it to sports because I'm a sports guy. Deshaun Watson. Do you know who that is?
Yes.
Do you know what he's done?
I saw your video on it on TikTok.
Bad dude. Great football player. But, and I used to love watching him. Makes me not like him a little bit more. I'm not going to say it on here. If you want to look up what Deshaun Watson done, just not a good dude.
Right.
That's how I see Ezra Miller. Pretty good actor. But just, yeah, it's hard for me to look past what he's done off screen in terms of that stuff. But I'm like you. Grant Gustin is my Flash. And I don't know. I think you could have chosen a lot of people that could have been a better Flash.
Yeah. I'm hoping that in the DCU they kind of go a different direction. But again, this portrayal...
And give me blonde.
Yes. Yes, please. Because that's what he is in the comic books. But, again, from his portrayal in Justice League to now, definitely a step up.
Improved. I will say that. Again, I'm not where he was at in this movie just now. Still not my favorite, but improved from Justice League.
So kind of back to the review part though. This movie was basically, I say basically because it's not a Flashpoint movie. The Flash goes back in time, saves his mom. We know that part. No spoiler there. However, the timeline gets messed up.
And he tries his best to fix timeline from there.
Exactly.
A little bit better than I think what most people on Twitter were saying.
Mm-hmm.
I was not a fan of what a lot of people were saying on Twitter. Definitely better than a lot of Twitter people, but definitely worse than like a lot of the pre-screenings.
Right.
Did you see? I don't know if you saw any of that, but some people pre-screening saying like best movie of 2023, best comic book movie of 2023, best comic book movie ever. I saw a couple of those. Yeah. Not that good, but also a little bit better than the average Twitter user that said it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. So somewhere in between. Just, again, enjoyable, fun watch, but it was cool. It was cool.
Which was trying to compete with, I mean, Across the Spider-Verse that just came out. I mean,
trying to compete with Guardians of the Galaxy even.
Yeah, like that. It's tough. It's tough. But they did the best they could with the type of universe they had. So there's also one post-credit scene.
Yes.
We'll get into that.
We'll talk about it in the spoiler review.
Yes.
Spoiler part. But if you're watching this and haven't seen the movie yet, there is a post-credit scene.
Yeah. Okay. Spoiler alert from here on out. Also, I wanted to point out, we got timestamps now. Feel free to skip to any part that you find more interesting than what we talk about. We do ramble a lot.
We've already done it like 6 times, I feel.
We have, yes. You just don't know because there's been jump cuts. So.
This guy's so good.
Thanks. Spoiler warning. If you don't want any of this information and you just want to go see it for yourself, stop the video now, come back later. We get into the first scene basically being Barry Allen late for work. Just like in any comic, any TV show, Barry Allen is always late. The fastest man alive is always late.
It's just funny.
Yeah, it is.
It's just funny.
Basically, he's trying to pick up his breakfast, but he's running into so many just stop after stop.
Yeah,
after
running into a couple problems here and there.
Yeah.
Gets a call from Alfred.
Right. Alfred's telling him Batman's taking out a robbery. He needs his help. The Flash is like, why is Batman even working in the daytime? So Barry runs to Gotham City to help Batman, which, to be honest with you, the running scene I liked. Not the running, because...
When they showed it from like an aerial view, it looked pretty good.
Yeah.
But the actual leg movement of the running, stupidest shit ever. Guys,
I agree.
Guys, he looked like just a ballerina.
Yeah.
Or like a figure skater or something.
Actually, I saw...
Which is no disrespect to any of those professions. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying.
There was a theory that he's moving so fast that he does skate on the Speed Force.
And I'm sure that's what Andy Muschietti will say.
Yes, and I think I think whoever says that's full crap. And no offense to you, you're probably a great person saying that, but you're full of crap. Read a comic, all right? He runs. He doesn't ski. He doesn't skate over the Speed Force. He runs on it.
He's not lunging as fast as he can.
Yeah.
He's running.
Yes.
It's like the same... That theory, to me, goes in line with the theory from Guardians of the Galaxy. Because, again, spoilers for that, if you haven't seen that. But at the end, when Groot says, I love you guys, and then somebody online was like, that's because we've all been around Groot for so long now that we understand him. No, it's not. That's just James Gunn being funny. And it was awesome. I loved the scene.
Yeah.
That's just James Gunn, just being James Gunn. This bad running is just Andy Muschietti. I think that's how you pronounce his name.
I think so.
Andy Muschietti just being Andy Muschietti.
Yeah.
Just not my favorite portrayal. I think Makari in Eternals is still my favorite live-action portrayal of a speedster.
That was super good.
Those scenes are great.
And again, I just liked it because it was, to me, it was visually pleasing to see how everything whizzed past him. Like, it almost looked like he was running at normal speed while everything else was flying past him.
Which reminds me of the Quicksilver scene from X-Men.
Yeah.
That famous scene where he's saving all the people from the school when it's about to blow up. And then, one of my favorite film scenes ever.
Right.
But that's what a lot of this reminded me
And
of.
I don't think we've actually ever seen kind of the point of view of, like, the Flash when he's running from somewhere to something. Like, he's running through different terrains, running on water. Like, it was just super cool. And I really liked it. I liked that scene because that's something you would see in the comic books. So I like that. However, my counter to that is the CGI.
Plenty of CGI mishaps, we'll say that.
It was She-Hulk level.
Ooh. No,
The babies.
She-Hulk was
Look at
worse.
the point that I put. The babies.
Yeah. Babies were pretty bad.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's She-Hulk bad. Don't know if it was She-Hulk bad. She-Hulk, they, look like they lost budget. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they just, sorry guys, we need more budget for the Daredevil.
This one kind of made it was like last movie type thing, you know?
And then, but Andy Muschietti did a good job. Again, if you guys saw this floating around on Twitter or Instagram, whatever, he said, well, hey, some of the scenes look bad in CGI because it's from Barry's point of view. You're full of shit, Andy. What the hell is that?
So he sees babies poorly rendered.
Yeah, so when he's running, he just can't see.
Yeah.
Just the stuff is still pixeling in when he's running as fast as he can.
So
Come on,
to give
Andy.
you context on the scene, basically Barry's helping clean up, which is a joke that is made throughout the first scene of the movie. He's basically helping save people from a collapsing hospital in Gotham City. A bunch of babies fall out of the nursery of the hospital, so he's saving all the babies. Puts one in a microwave, which I know is going to get a bunch of on the internet. I know there's going to be a lot of people.
But it shouldn't because the microwave was unplugged.
It was? No, it dinged. It still dinged.
Which is horrible writing. How the fuck is it gonna ding if it's not plugged in?
It was unplugged, but it still said ding. And he was like, oh yeah. And he put the baby out of the microwave.
And then a little bit of smoke billowed out. Andy!
The baby was fine, by the way.
Baby had no burns,
No, no
scars.
It was just CGI babies.
Andy,
Until
we're 5 minutes into your
babies.
movie, and I already have a couple problems.
Yeah.
3.2. I'm just going to update you guys my score. As I think of more stuff that I didn't like, I think I'm at 3.1 now. Started at 3.2. 3.1.
Yeah, so, but...
Don't drop me down any farther, Andy.
Yeah. I didn't really like the Bat Cycle either. I liked Ben Affleck's Batman in this. I think the chase scene was pretty cool.
I think I'll never like another Bat Cycle after seeing the Christian Bale Bat Cycle.
Yeah.
That's the coolest one. With the rotating wheels? Guys.
That one takes the cake for any Bat Cycle.
Yeah.
This one...
I like this one. I'm not gonna say it's bad. I just again, there's never gonna be a Bat Cycle that's at the level of Christian Bale's.
I get it. Batman gets tech that's out of this world, but I like a little realism. That's me. That's me.
It's a superhero movie.
Yeah.
It's a superhero movie. I'm not gonna nitpick what's real and what's not.
Right.
I'm with you though.
Yeah.
Sure.
It was a space cycle. That's exactly what it was to me.
It's a time and space movie. I can't get caught up in the little things of the Bat Cycle.
Yeah. But anyways, Ben Affleck's Batman was still pretty good.
I've never had a problem with Ben Affleck's Batman ever. Mm-hmm. I wish we could get an actual solo film of his.
I think that we missed that opportunity. I feel like they could have done really good with it.
Absolutely.
A Zack Snyder Batman film? Oh my gosh.
And again, I'm not saying he's to the level of Christian Bale, or if you guys like any of the older ones, that's fine, or even to the level of Pattinson. I think those ones are probably better. Hurts Ben Affleck's case that we never got his own solo film as Batman, but I've never really had a complaint.
No,
with his Batman.
Like in Batman vs Superman, the fight scene that we get with him. Oh my gosh, that was one of the best fight scenes I've ever seen. It was so good. Fast forward a little bit, Barry remembers that there's a court case for his dad coming up. Bruce Wayne gets him a unblurred clip, basically showing his alibi that he was at the store getting tomatoes for his mom. However, he doesn't look at the camera. So that sucks. That alibi's kind of out the window now because it's can't really prove 100% that is his father. which is something we'll get into in the future here in this video. The Flash goes back to save his mom because he's just kind of caught up with this turmoil of I can go back. He accidentally goes back in time, just after running, tells Bruce Wayne I can go back. I can save her, but Bruce kind of says the things that happen to us
meant to happen.
Yes, they make us who we are.
And to put it in lighter terms, just very similar to a canon event in Spider-Verse.
Right, which is actually called inevitable events.
They call it something different.
Yeah.
But to put it, in simpler terms, just think of how they talk about canon events in Spider-Verse.
Yeah. And he does anyways. He goes back and basically puts the canned tomatoes she's missing inside her cart, so that way his dad never goes to the store, which means somebody never breaks in and kills his mom. And this obviously alters the timeline. And I think
who would have thought,
Yeah, right, because that would never happen. And he actually becomes best friends with himself, his 18-year-old self, which honestly, that was really funny.
I thought that whole part was actually really well done. I thought going into the movie that was going to kind of be the corniest part, him interacting with his past self, but I really did like that.
Yeah, they became really good friends throughout that
3.2.
It was really good. So basically Flash is like, we need the Justice League because Zod's back. This is, I messed up the timeline, but we need the Justice League.
Showed a cool scene of him actually was there in, what was that, 2016?
13.
No, 13. Yeah. So him in 2013, so 10 years ago, and trying to save people in that that event from Zod. And I thought that was cool. Because Man of Steel, guys, I love Man of Steel.
So good.
Love that movie. I don't know why people talk shit on it.
No, it's really good.
It's a really good movie.
I just like that we got a lot of backstory from Flash. Like, we got to see where he was in the events that happened. Like, we know where the Flash was, what he was doing at these certain times throughout the DCEU, and it was really cool. I really enjoyed that. But Barry tells Barry, we need the Justice League. I almost said Avengers. That's the wrong universe. We need the Justice League. So he basically goes and looks up. There's no Aquaman, which was a funny scene in its own, by the way, but you guys got to see it. There is no Aquaman. What was Diana Prince? She was like a dancer, right? Something.
It was like a woman magician or something.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what it was. Maybe it was an adult dancer.
Entertainer.
Yeah, it could have been that, yeah.
Yeah. Then we have Cyborg.
Cyborg, but he was like actually playing football.
Actually playing football and a football star. And then he realized Bruce Wayne. Like Batman is still in this universe. So they go to talk to Bruce Wayne about saving Clark Kent and getting Superman to beat Zod. However,
it's not Ben Affleck. Oh my God.
It's Michael Keaton. And he's worse for wear, honestly, in this movie, but he still kicked there.
You don't really forget how to be Batman,
No.
It's going to take me a long time to snap out of it.
Yeah.
I've been Batman for too long now.
Yeah. So Michael Keaton is the one that really talked about the timelines, though, where he basically tells the Barrys that, like...
Go on.
Yeah.
Keep going.
He tells the Barrys, like, okay, we think of it as a linear thing, where it's like... It's two separate ones, but the same, and you just kind of switch it a little bit so it trails off in a different direction. He said, but that's not the case. If you change the future, you change the past, and then you go and crisscross them. So now there's a different past and a different future, and there's just some points that cross. Which is
3.1, because I understood all of what Keaton, or his Batman, was saying in that scene. Understand all of it. Why the f*** does he know all that? That was kind of irritating to me. Mm-hmm. I'm like, here's two flashes, two people that he's never seen, kind of give him the brief rundown of what just happened. He's like, oh, well, it's because of this. Yeah. And then just perfectly explains it. I'm like, why do you know that?
They did make him a lot smarter than he should have been. Like, yes, world's greatest detective.
World's greatest detective, sure.
But...
Found Supergirl.
Yeah, but
sorry, jumping ahead a little bit, but
still, yeah.
I hope somebody out there who watches this agrees with me on that. I didn't like that. Where that fight scene was funny.
Yeah.
Fight scene when he's fighting him off in the kitchen, that was funny. But yeah, the fact that he just like knew what he was talking about, just pinpoint. Yeah. Wasn't a fan.
So, to recap, at this point, we now have Michael Keaton Batman, a powerless Barry. New Barry has powers, doesn't really know how to use them. So, these three, which you would never think would break into a Russian prison, break into a Russian prison.
Remember, also like 900-year-old Michael Keaton.
Yes. Basically found out that some alien is being held in Russia. They all believe it to be Clark Kent or Kal-El, Superman. However, it is Kara Zor-El, Supergirl. Supergirl was in this movie.
And we talked about this right before we started recording. He's mad that she's I'm okay with it. Because she just got out of, like, this sleep that she was in. Like, again, if you guys haven't seen the movie and you're sitting here watching the spoiler part of it, they're carrying her out because she can't walk. She's still fainted, kind of. Like, she's barely opening her eyes. So the fact that she was not completely unstoppable, like a Superman or Supergirl normally is, I'm okay with it.
And for the Superman fans out there with me, she got back to the sun. And even though, yeah, it doesn't make her 100%, because Kryptonians still need sleep and food and stuff, she still wiped the floor with some Russians.
Oh, yeah, plenty.
Passed out after that, obviously, for obvious reasons. Again, sleep and food, they need it. Get back to Wayne Manor. She still gets her solar energy. She, I don't know. She had enough solar energy to where she should have been just fine. And we'll tell you why.
Takes a couple days, man.
Michael Keaton, though, my gosh, dude, his Batman carried this movie.
Carried the movie, but again, I will say, as much as I liked seeing him in the movie and I thought he was great, he was funny, why was there no joke of, like, he's old, I can't throw a punch anymore, or something like that? Yeah. Not can't throw a punch, but like...
There should have been like, oh, my back.
Yeah, there should have been like I can't move like I used to. Yeah. Some sort of joke like that. I just didn't like, and especially because when we first saw him, just real old looking, and yeah, had that fight scene, but there was just no, like, had to snap back into it,
Yeah.
It was just like I've been off for 40 years, but remember, I'm Batman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I did like, though, every time he did do something, it was his theme song. And it was...
Which is so good. Theme song's so good.
I love it. Honestly, it kind of reminded me more... It didn't remind me of when he did play in the movies. It reminded me of the animated series.
Yes! I was going to say the same thing. And it reminded me of the Lego Batman video game.
Yeah. So it just kind of reminded me of the fact that maybe this wasn't the Michael Keaton Batman we know and love, but it was the live-action version of the animated series.
That would be too much. And I don't... Andy, I'm sorry. If you see this, Andy, I need you to know, I don't think he's smart enough to think that.
Yeah, probably not. I don't know.
Andy, again, I'm sorry. But I don't think Andy was like, what if instead of it being the Keaton, it's Keaton playing the live action of the animated? You didn't do that, Andy. I know you didn't. And if you see this video, and then you're like, that actually was my plan. I meant to do that. No, you didn't. No.
It's my idea.
It was Kay's idea. not yours, Andy.
Still carried this movie. But now fast forward, final battle, right? Supergirl's like, I'll help you. They redo the experiment that gave Barry his powers. Older Barry gets his powers back. We all think he dies. Younger Barry thinks he dies. He's crying because his best friend himself is dead.
That scene right there is a good reason why I'm starting to go away from watching trailers. I'm not scared that Barry's going to die because there are scenes that I've seen in the trailer. There's still Barry's, but I haven't seen him yet in the movie.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'm like, I'm not worried. I know he lives.
Yeah. Obviously, I knew he would live. But
exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, so they now both have powers. Younger Barry takes a bat suit, makes it his own Flash suit.
Which, I'm sorry, what a great twist that would have been if they just killed off our Barry. They just killed off our Barry, and the new Barry had to be like, all right, shit, it's on me. Now I kind of want that version.
Yeah.
Do it, Andy. You'll get a 3.6.
Yeah. So now they're going to fight General Zod. This is again where I say Supergirl's because she has enough sunlight. She's fighting in the sun.
It's been like 2 hours, dude.
Supergirl is supposed to be more powerful than Superman.
She forgot.
Apparently so.
She forgot
because
she was more powerful.
General Zod, not once, but multiple times, because these two Barrys keep going back in time to try to save Michael Keaton and Supergirl. She gets stabbed by General Zod. Like, I'm sorry, but that's bad writing.
I think it's not bad writing because Kara dies every time. Because, again, that's a... What do they call it? Not canon event, but...
Inevitable event.
Inevitable event.
Okay. It's an inevitable event, except General Zod stabs her. Like, that's the part that I'm like...
I think it's dumb because one of the two Barrys easily could have done something with Zod. But they were just like, you know what? That's her fight. She's got to do that on her own. Saw her die, went back in time. They were like, she's got to do it.
Yeah.
And just never did. She never did.
Supergirl's
So that's more my problem. Not so much that Supergirl couldn't defeat him, more so the fact that they saw her die and were like, well, we have to go back so she doesn't die, and then didn't do anything to prevent her from dying. Yeah. They threw a few punches.
So Michael Keaton dies twice. The first one got me. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, they just did that. The second time is more dramatic. But Michael Keaton does die, which still hits me because I love Michael Keaton Batman. I love it. And he dies.
I think the first death would have been better.
Oh, it would have been 100 times better. Don't get me wrong. The first death, it was like not in vain. Like he did it because he thought he was doing something right. Then the second death, he gets slammed on the floor and he's like, oh.
Especially because the first one there was a shield, and so like that's funny to me. I'm sorry. I don't care how much I like the character, but when they try to do something heroic like that, and they still die and it doesn't work, I always find that funny. I love you, Keaton.
After all this, we're then introduced into the real villain of this movie.
Sure.
Yeah. You see him once. He throws Barry out of the timeline to meet his 18-year-old self. He's called the Dark Flash.
It's a future evil Barry.
Yeah.
That he takes... Again, I think I'm going to explain this right. I'm going to try if you guys are confused on this part. When we see our Barry first running through the Speed Force, or through the Flashpoint, what?
Speed Force.
Speed Force, right?
Yeah.
So he's first running through the Speed Force. Remember, he knocks him out, sends him into his universe. He said he did that so he could get his powers, because that evil Barry that we see is the 18-year-old Barry.
Yep. So
if any of you guys are confused on that, that's what that is.
Basically, he's been living in the Speed Force. He's been going back to these inevitable events, trying to save Supergirl. And that's what he's been doing for years and years and years. So now he's an older Barry. While this is happening...
Didn't even look like him at all. That was weird. Which, you know what? No, I kind of like that. I think I like it. Anytime we see a character, they age a character, it's always just them with wrinkles.
Yeah.
Like them with gray hair. So I think I kind of like that he didn't look like Barry, but kind of had his voice.
No, I agree. But while this is happening, so basically the younger Barry, older Barry, and older Barry, they're fighting within the Speed Force, and we have different timelines
crashing into each other.
Again, CGI was
pretty handy.
Yeah.
3.0, dude.
But in the other timelines, we do see George Reeves' Superman, which is like first ever TV appearance of Superman. Christopher Reeve with Supergirl Helen Slater. Those are obviously the first ever movie appearance of Superman and Supergirl. We also get Nicolas Cage, Superman.
Which I think is hilarious.
Yeah. Because
that movie never even existed.
Nope. It was supposed to be within the Tim Burton universe. So it was supposed to be the Superman to Michael Keaton, which I'm actually glad it never happened. Nicolas Cage is not a Superman.
He's not a Superman, and my only hope is that if it were to ever come to light, if he had long hair as Superman, I would freak out. I would. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I just...
Yeah.
My God.
And then we do see Adam West Batman, which I'm a little upset that that's the only Batman we got, but I feel like I understand why. We've already had so many Batmans. This was just a nod to the late Adam West. May he rest in peace.
Was hoping we would see Brandon Routh, Superman.
I
would have thought that a Val Kilmer would have been really cool.
That would have been cool.
Val Kilmer Batman.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was happening, but Barry then... Younger Barry saves it because older Barry, Dark Flash, went to kill... Middle Barry, but younger Barry jumps in the way. He dies, so that means Dark Flash dies because he's a future self of that Flash. Then the timelines start to, stop breaking each other, and they go back to where they're supposed to be. And the Flash then has one last final scene with his mom, which those scenes were sad. All of the scenes where his mom was in it, oh my God. Barry goes back, takes the can out of her cart to then fix everything. However, he looks up at the video camera of the store he's in. He goes, you kind of see the idea pop in his head. And I knew this was going to happen before it was even shown. I was like, this is exactly what's going to happen. Fast forward to the court scene. This is basically the appeal, whether his dad gets to come out of prison or not. Barry had switched the cans from the bottom shelf to the top shelf, so that way his dad had to look up, and then boom, clear as day, his dad did not murder his mom. However, this alters the timeline again, because Barry gets a call from Bruce Wayne. We're thinking Ben Affleck. Okay, cool. Bruce Wayne gets out of the car, none other than George Clooney himself. The greatest Batman to ever hit film.
Ooh, that's just enough.
But yeah, George Clooney is now Bruce Wayne in this timeline. Thanks, Barry.
And I think that will just never get fixed, because I hope to God we don't see Ezra Miller ever again on screen as Flash.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Watch George Clooney be the new DCU Batman.
I will flip. I'll flip, and I'll never watch another superhero movie again.
Yeah.
But I do want to say one thing. The Flash, I saw this tweet before the movie, and I saved it so I could come back to it later. The Flash had 3 different endings during production. Keaton's Batman and Supergirl, also in the courthouse for that scene. Supergirl, Henry Cavill's Superman, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, and Keaton's Batman in the courthouse, and then the one that we have now. I think the one that we have now is perfect.
Yeah. I liked the ending. I really did.
Really did. And I think it would have been really dumb to have Henry Cavill, Superman, just sitting in the courthouse, like, where have you been, dude?
Yeah.
You know
we do see, like, a clip of where Superman is and stuff like that in the beginning, but, I mean, Henry Cavill is not Superman anymore. We just need to get over that point.
Which pains me.
Yeah.
A lot of sleepless nights, and also a lot of nights where I cried myself to sleep because Henry Cavill is no longer my Superman.
But we're actually going to start the hashtag for Henry Cavill 007.
Henry Cavill 007 and Jensen Ackles.
Batman.
My new Batman.
We, like, that... Everybody wants a younger Batman, but we are getting a Batman who's on his 4th Robin, which is his 10-year-old son. Jensen Ackles would fit.
Jensen Ackles will fit. James Gunn, do the right thing.
Yep. James Gunn, he's your buddy. Just do a buddy a favor. He wants to be Batman. Let the guy be Batman.
And let me be your Flash. Huh. How about that?
Yeah.
I'll get this gone, dude. You need me to be your Flash?
Like, okay.
I'll do lots of running to train. Like, killing 2 birds with 1 stone, dude.
Just when it comes to people who want to do the role, they will be the best at the role. So now we get into the post-credit scene, and I wasted about 15 minutes waiting for this.
Not 15, but I did have enough time to go to the bathroom during the credits and come back, get comfortable in my seat again for it to be a bad post-credit scene.
It's just basically the Flash in a very drunk Aquaman coming out. The Flash is trying to explain to him this Bruce Wayne isn't the Bruce Wayne we know because it's a different Bruce Wayne every time. But Aquaman's super just drunk, falls down, falls asleep in a puddle, literally. And that was the post-credit scene we got.
Just brutal.
Yeah.
Andy 2.9 guy.
That's all we got for you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. I reply to the comments. If you've seen the movie, give us I want to know your rating. What would you rate this movie?
Yeah,
like, that's what I want to know.
Give us your out of 5.
Yeah.
And update it as you're watching the video like I did.
Yeah, you can update it.
As we're going through it, it got lower.
Yeah.
At one point where it went back up, it got lower again.
Yeah.
2.9.
There were a couple things that just this movie shouldn't have done. But, yeah, so comment your rating. Big things are coming. I will not tell you what it is, but big things are coming.
We can't spoil it.
No.
Sorry.
No. So, hopefully soon we can show you maybe a little bit of what's coming, but for right now, stick with us. But other than that, we appreciate you watching. Follow all of our socials, and thanks for geeking out with us.